All right, in this lesson, we want to look at how a daughter can respond to her mother when the mother rejects her and the mother doesn't bless her. So again, two responses. One is to cut the mother off in bitterness, and the other is to clamor after love and blessing from a mother. So let's look at this first one. This woman who's been wounded and hurt by her mother, never blessed by her mother, is predisposed not to receive love from a woman. So as she goes through life, she expects to be rejected and not approved of by women. So again, if she has a female boss, she's going to do much better with a male boss than a female boss because she's carrying bitterness in her heart toward her mother, and she will project that onto other women that she relates to, especially women in authority. So her identity is likely to be established in self. Again, I cut that other person off. I cut my mother off. I don't need her. I don't need anybody. So in her career, she can be a workaholic, striving to prove I'm valuable. Again, stingy, have a fear regarding money, stingy, fear of lack, need to accumulate to prove value in power and status. She may be, again, shallow, manipulative, not build deep relationships. In ministry, this woman could be a ministry-holic. Again, trying to prove to her mother, see, I am valuable even though you made me feel worthless. Or she can put her identity in her own motherhood and become supermom. Or she'll put her identity in any role in which she feels like she can really prove herself to be a real woman and disprove the devil's message that came through her mom that you're worthless and you mean nothing. So the potential results are she'll, as I said, have conflict with female authorities. She doesn't need or trust other people. It's like, I don't need you. I'm self-sufficient. I'm independent. I'll shut everybody out. She has an I can do it myself attitude. She may not be sensitive to the needs of others. In her relationship with men, she may be flirtatious and promiscuous, attracting their attention, using her own femininity to do that. And as we've said many times before, she may reproduce in her own life the very qualities that she hated in her mother. I've had many women tell me, I can't believe it. I mean, when I was a teenager, I vowed in my heart, I'll never be like my mother. And here, years later, I find myself repeating the same patterns, and people come and say, you're just like your mother. Again, that's exactly what bitterness does. When we don't forgive, it sets us up to repeat those same patterns in our own adult life. Her relationship in marriage is that she views her husband as someone whose purpose is to complete her feminine identity, to make her feel like a real woman. She may be looking to him to do for her what her mother didn't do. So she'll be critical of her husband. He doesn't do anything right. He doesn't do what I need. Because her identity is actually in self, but she's using him to make herself feel valuable. So she can demand that he love her, but she doesn't let him in. It's sort of a strange message she sends to him. Again, she's got a wall around her heart, so she says, I love you, but and I need you to love me, but when he comes to try, she's got a wall that shuts him out. In relationship with God, she's also got a shell that shuts God out, but she doesn't know it. She may have difficulty submitting to her husband's authority. She always knows better than he does. She thinks that she's got more on the ball than he does because that wounding in her heart from her mother, again, has made her, given her an impetus to prove herself, and I know what is right, and I don't need other people. She'll have difficulty communicating real feelings with her husband because she's got them all buried deep inside because of the shame and wounding from her mother. So in marriage, her husband feels dishonored, unable to please her, falsely or unjustly accused, and many times frustrated. He wants to love her, he wants to bless her, but she's got him shut out. Okay? Then the last adult pattern we're going to look at is where the mother has not blessed her daughter, but the daughter is striving after blessing from a woman, striving after blessing from her mother. And she may be, I'll just say this in marriage. What happens sometimes is this wife will spend a whole lot more time with her girlfriends than she will with her husband, because it's a lot more important to her what her friends think of her than what her husband thinks of her. And we'll get to that when we look at marriage in just a moment. But let's go through these characteristics. This woman is predisposed to strive after love and acceptance from a woman. She'll do whatever is needed to be accepted and approved of. Her identity is likely to be established in other people, what they think. So she cares very deeply what other people think of her. She cares what her husband thinks, her children thinks. She cares what her hero thinks. She cares what her boss, her pastor, her friends think. She's interested in what everybody else thinks. Some of the potential results are that she's highly sensitive to the needs of others. She's compassionate, caring, but this woman is also highly self-critical. She can have a lot of undue striving to be accepted by other women, looking to her friends to accept her, and she can despise her own femininity because her mother made her feel worthless as a woman. This is a potential door to lesbianism. I haven't seen it a lot, but I've run into people on occasion that have, when we prayed and said, Lord, where did this start? It started from rejection from a mother and a woman longing after the blessing and love and impartation from a woman that never came from a mother. And so she may battle with homosexual fantasies or experiences, and obviously that's going to be very disruptive in her marriage. She may take on some masculine characteristics because she's rejecting the femininity of her mother who wounded her. So in relationship, in marriage, she may be perfectionistic because she learned from her mom the only way that you can be loved and valuable is to be perfect. And she grew up in a shaming environment, so she had to be perfect. Depression, self-criticism can emotionally drain her husband. So he's trying to give to her, but she doesn't allow him to really fill her love tank, so to speak. She may put out more energy or put more energy into her friendships than she does into her marriage because she's longing after impartation of blessing from other women that are her friends. Her husband will never satisfy her need for love. And so again, she's longing for love, but she doesn't allow him to fill her love tank, and she's looking more to other women to do that, friendships and that sort of thing. So the husband feels ignored, frustrated, not needed, unable to ever capture her attention, and he feels dishonored. So these are the relationships that can happen in marriage. So we've looked at all 8 of these, 4 that come from a father, 2 from a father toward a son, 2 from a father toward a daughter, then 2 from a mother toward a son, 2 from a mother toward a daughter. Let's look at what happens when we just combine these core 8 characteristics. So here we have a husband, and suppose he's a combination of number 1 from his father and number 5 from his mother. He ends up sending this message to his wife: I don't need you, and I won't let you in. So he's got a huge wall there of self-sufficiency and independence because his dad has hurt him, and now he's got a huge wall from his mother, and he doesn't let women in. You can imagine what kind of havoc that's going to wreak in a marriage. Let's look at the second combination, and that is a husband who's number 1 from his characteristic number 1 from his dad and number 6 from his mother, which is, I desperately need you. I desperately need your love, he conveys to his wife, but I've got a wall and I won't let you in. That's where the wife comes to try to bless her husband, to love him. She hears his cry from inside, I need your love, but when she comes to try to love him, he shuts down, shuts her out, goes to his man cave, completely isolates. And so he cries out to her, but he won't let her love him. Then let's look at the next one, a husband who has number 2 from his dad and number 5 from his mom. And he conveys this message to his wife: I don't need you, but I desperately need love from others, especially men, because I'm clamoring after love from men, or not necessarily love, and I'm not meaning necessarily in a homosexual way, just meaning I'm more interested in what my boss thinks about me. I'm more interested in what my pastor thinks about me. I'm more interested in what other friends of mine think about me. And I'm more interested in their attention and their affirmation than I am from you. I don't really need you. And again, that's going to wreak havoc in a marriage. Okay, the fourth combination is number 2 from his dad and number 6 from his mom, which is the longing after blessing from both father and mother. I'll do anything to get love from you or anybody else. In other words, his identity is what everybody thinks, what anybody thinks. He's the black hole guy on both sides that needs love, that makes his wife his God, smothers her, looks for love from anybody, everybody. I just need somebody to value me, somebody to make me feel like a man, somebody to make me feel loved. And so he's got the clamoring after love from both sides. Now let's look at the 4 characteristics or the 4 combinations that can be in a wife. The first one, number 3 from her dad, and number 7 from her mom. So she conveys this message to her husband: I don't need you, and I won't let you in. I got a wall with my dad. I got a wall with my mom. I'm self-sufficient, independent. I don't need anybody. I will just do my thing, and I won't let anybody in. Okay, so no matter how much he tries, she isn't going to let him love her. But deep inside, she's longing for love, but is fearful to tear down the wall. By the way, when people put a wall with other people, they also put a shell with God. And they will project that same message to God without really realizing it. Lord, I love you. But the real message is coming out is, I don't need you, and I'm not letting you in. You didn't protect me from the wounding that happened to from my dad, from my mom, so I've got God shut out too. Okay, the next one is this wife has number 3 characteristic from her dad and number 8 from her mom. So she sends this message to her husband: I don't need you, but I desperately need love from others, especially women. So she's more interested in relationship with her girlfriends than she is with her husband, because she gets her affirmation and her needs met through friendships with other women, much more so than her husband. And so that's going to be frustrating for him. She doesn't really love me. She doesn't really care about me. She pours all her life into her friendships with other women. Okay, then the third characteristic for the wife, she has number 4 from her dad and number 7 from her mom, which is, and she'll send this message to her husband: I desperately need your love, but I'm not letting you in. That's the glass wall that she stands behind. She says, please come love me. And the moment he comes to try, he hits that wall and can't get through. And it's confusing to him. Wasn't that your voice I just heard inviting me to come love you? And now I try and I just hit a wall and you don't let me in? Yes, that's what happens with that one. So I desperately need your love, but I won't let you in. And then the last category for the wife is number 4 from her dad and number 8 from her mom, which is, I'm a black hole. I need love from anybody, from everybody. I'll do anything I need to get love from you or anyone else. Please love me. Please just fill me. I desperately need love. Nobody loves me. I feel worthless. I don't feel loved. I don't feel valuable. And again, very difficult to fill that love tank. What has to happen is for that woman to get her heart open to God and to receive from God. Now, just in conclusion of this module, talking about these 8 life patterns that impact people in marriage, I want to emphasize again, none of these patterns are godly. These are all patterns that are your flesh working in a wrong response to save yourself, to meet your own needs, because you didn't receive love and blessing from a dad or from a mom. And as a son or daughter, an adult son or daughter, the way that every one of these are solved is by coming to the Lord and letting God fill your heart and impart to you blessing that didn't come from a dad and didn't come from a mom. The thing that does not work is shutting out your wife or husband or other people, or clamoring after the love from your wife or husband or other people to try to meet the need of the blessing that never did come from a dad or a mom. No, the answer is you run to God. Get your heart open before God. And again, we have Blessing Generations a weekend experience that is designed exactly to impart to you the love from God that you didn't receive from a dad or a mom on an experiential basis. It's not cognitive. It's not something you need to understand. It's not a principle you need to do. It's an experience you need to have with the Lord. And that's why we have those Blessing Generations experiences. If you've never been through one of those, we have them online. We have them in physical locations. We're in over 50 nations around the world with trained teams. We've trained to help people come into that experience. And if you haven't ever experienced that yet, I would really encourage you to do that. That is the solution for that. Then looking at the next generation, which is your children, if you identify some of these patterns operative in your son or daughter or son-in-law or daughter-in-law, the issue is to pray and say, God, how would you have me to bless my son, to bless my daughter or son-in-law or daughter-in-law? How can I impart into their life? If children are still living at home, then of course what we're talking about is these 7 critical times of blessing. Father, let me impart to my son or daughter so that as they grow up, they're secure in their own identity. They know they're loved. They know they're valuable. They know they're precious. They have a destiny from you. They have a purpose and identity from you. And they're going to be at peace and be able to give to the person they marry rather than shut that person out and put trust in self or look to that person as God to meet all their needs. Those are the two things that wreak havoc in a marriage. And these are tied right back to blessing, the key that we as parents have to open the door for the future prosperity of our children. So that's why I'm telling you what these 8 life patterns are about, is so that you can deal with them in your own life and so that you can minister to the hearts of your sons and daughters, that they will not walk in these patterns, but they will walk in freedom to be a blessing to the person that they marry. So we're concluding this module, and if you need to go back through these patterns, I encourage you to do that. And they're not things you want to identify with. Please don't do this. Please don't go, I'm this. My wife or husband is that, my friend is that, this other person is that person's that. No, that's not the purpose of this, is to label and judge people. The purpose of this is to let God expose and identify your heart and the need in your life and the need in your children's life, so that you can be used of God to minister to your children, and so that you can come before God and get free, not just identify, well, that's the way it is and let it stay that way. No, these are patterns that are destructive, that are harmful, that destroy lives, destroy marriages, and we just want to identify them in our own lives so that we can get free of them and minister to our sons and daughters and help them get free as well. That's the purpose. So let's close this in prayer. Father, thank you so much that you love us. Thank you for what you've been pouring into us through this course. And God, I pray that you would free us from these adult patterns that we've identified in our own hearts. And Lord, from what you've identified in our children, that we might be able to minister to them and bless them. God, thank you for the blood of Yeshua Mashiach, Jesus the Messiah, that God, He poured out His blood to free us from these things. And Lord, to remove the lies from our hearts and replace them with truth. Thank you so much for what you've done thus far. I pray blessing upon every person, every father, every mother who's gone through this course up to this point, in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.